Hi guys, Dr. Chloe Koskinen here from Mobility Doc. Today we're going to do our weekly recovery session and we are going to focus on the calves today. Calves and actually some of the shin as well. So we're going to start with doing some foam rolling, and then we're going to do two different stretches. So make sure you have a foam roller, and then also you'll need something to put underneath your foot. So I just have a rolled up yoga mat. You could use a towel, or if you have like a wedge, that will be helpful. And then also something to place my hands on. If you don't have yoga blocks, that's fine. You could use something like a chair too. Okay, so let me review the 3 exercises that we're gonna do. We're gonna do them for 3 rounds, okay? So 3 different exercises for 3 rounds, about a minute each, okay? All right, so first with foam rolling for the calf, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna place one leg on the foam roller, and I'm just gonna roll through this entire length of the muscle. I can place my other leg on top to get a little bit more pressure. We're gonna do 25 seconds on each side. Then we're gonna stand up. This is where you'll need that rolled up yoga mat. I'm gonna place the edge of my foot on the mat so my heel is down. I'm gonna place my hands on yoga blocks. Now, when I come down, I'm gonna try to make sure that I'm rotating my pelvis forward so then my back is flat, so I'm not rounding like this. So if your hamstrings and your calves are pretty tight, you might need something even a little bit higher. So I'm here, and then we're gonna do a dynamic stretch. So just straightening and bending the knee. We're gonna do 25 seconds on each side. Now, if you notice, I'm not shifting my hips back when I'm doing this. I'm just bending my knee and then straightening. When I straighten it, I should feel a stretch throughout the back of my calf and hamstring. Then finally, keep these blocks, and I'm gonna do a stretch. I'll move these out of the way to start. I'm gonna do a stretch that will actually stretch part of the shin and a little bit of these peroneal muscles, the muscles on the outside of the calf. So I'm gonna start with pointing my foot down. So my foot is gonna be flat. Both sides of my pelvis are gonna be pointing forward, so I'm not turning like this. Both sides are pointing forward, so toes pointing in, and then I'm gonna try to rotate my pelvis forward, so I'm not tucking, rotating forward, and then I'm just gonna straighten and bend, just like this, okay? So if you see me from the side here, my foot is turning in slightly, and then I should feel a stretch through this outside portion of the shin, okay? So we're gonna do 3 rounds, start with the foam roller, and then I'll talk you guys through the rest of them, okay? In 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm starting with that right calf. I'm gonna place my left leg over top of my right so that I can get a little bit more pressure, and I'm gonna roll through the entire portion of the calf. If it's too much on your shoulders to kind of like lift yourself up and roll throughout that entire length of the calf, then just choose like the bottom part first and then go to the top part. And now switch sides. So now I'm doing the left side. So I'm gonna try to get the entire length of the muscle coming through the inside portion, also the outside. For me, when I go through the inside, I can't put as much pressure on that, so that's why I took my leg off, because particularly for the inside part, it's pretty tight for me. So we're going through this whole area. Good, move the foam roller, then grab the yoga mat or the wedge. I'm gonna place my right foot on the edge first, and then I'm gonna keep my back flat, and I'm gonna place my hips directly over my ankle, and then I'm gonna bend and straighten my leg. So as I'm straightening my leg, I should feel it stretching through my calf. So I'm not shifting my hips back. You notice how my my hip is directly over my ankle. Switch sides. So now I'm doing my left side. So my left toes and the ball mat of my foot is on the foam roller, and then I'm down on my heel. I'm straightening and bending my knee. Good, straightening and bending that knee as much as I can. Each time I can get a little bit more straight. Good. I'm gonna move the yoga mat out of the way, and now I'm gonna place my right foot in front of me, square off my pelvis so I'm pointing forward. Now I'm turning my toes in, and then I'm gonna make sure that I kind of create that arch in my back and keeping my foot down on the ground Then I'm going to straighten my knee. So I should feel the stretching through the front of my shin and the outside part of my shin. Notice that I'm not shifting my hips back. I'm trying to keep myself stationary. I'm just bending my knee. Switch sides. Now I'm on the left side. Turn that foot in and bend and straighten. So you'll probably notice that one side feels a little less tight than the other. So for me, the right side of my shin is a little bit more tight, so I don't feel this quite as much. You might have to play around with where you position your foot too. All right, put those off to the side. Grab the foam roller again, round 2. And go. So I'm rolling through this whole area as much as I can, trying to get to the outside, the inside. I'm getting all the way up to the top portion of my calf. So I'm not rolling in the knee crease, but I'm rolling just below that point. And then I'm rolling all the way down to the bottom of the Achilles as well. And switch sides. So now going through the Achilles on this left-hand side, this inside part of the calf, particularly on the left side for me, the inside part of the calf is tight. So I might spend a little bit more time through there. And I'm rolling through. Remember, you can roll just the top half and then the bottom half too. You don't have to do it all, like the whole time, sweeping through. Good, move the foam roller out of the way. Grab the rolled up yoga mat, placing the right foot on the edge. And go. Now I'm bending and straightening this right knee. Now you notice that I'm not shifting my hips back, so I'm not doing this every time. I'm just bending and straightening that knee. Check in with your toes. If it feels like your toes are starting to curl, try to relax the toes as much as you can. Good, and switch sides. So now I'm on that left side, and I'm really trying to focus on making sure that my left hip isn't pushing out to the side or forward. I'm just trying to stay as one line. This is also really good for kind of teaching your hip exactly where it should be. So then that way you're actually stretching in a more functional position as well. Good. Move the yoga mat off to the side, and then we'll start with the, it doesn't matter which side you start with. I'll start with my left side. I'm going to turn my left toes in a little bit more, and then I'm going to bend and straighten my knee. Now check in with the position of your pelvis. Your pelvis is going to want to tuck, so you're going to want to kind of round your back. Try not to let it. Try to keep that back as flat as possible. You might feel a stretch through the hamstring as well, which is totally normal. And you might not fully straighten that knee. That's fine too. Switch sides. That's why we're repeating this 3 times, is because it gives you an opportunity to progressively increase that range of motion. Good, straighten and bend that knee. Good, I'm trying to not let my hip lift up as I straighten that knee. Good, last time, foam rolling through the calf. So I'm gonna start, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll the bottom half first, and then I'll roll the top half, just to kind of show you guys what I meant by that. So when I'm here, if I'm just rolling the bottom half, then it's like I'm just kind of rolling back and forth about like 6 inches or so. And then I'm just gonna focus on this bottom portion to start. And by this time, this 3rd time through, you probably should have a pretty good idea of where you feel more of that tightness. Then I'm gonna roll to that top portion of the calf as well. Into the inside part is always tight for me. Now I'm gonna switch sides. So now I'm on my left side. I'm gonna roll through this inner edge of my left leg. And that's the beauty of repeating this, is that instead of just like brutalizing your calves all at once, you get a chance to progressively challenge that flexibility. Good, all right, move that foam roller out of the way, we don't need it anymore. Grab the yoga mat and go. You're gonna straighten and bend that knee. Now I'm really focusing on making sure that as I straighten that knee, that I'm not turning, that I'm not letting my hip slide forward at all. So I'm trying to push that thigh bone back toward the back of the mat as I straighten that knee. Good, and switch sides. You'll probably find by now that you'll be able to straighten that knee a little bit more. You might be able to drop a little bit lower, but you also don't have to. This is one of those things that'd be great to repeat it multiple times through. Good, just a few more seconds. And we just have one more stretch. Good, move that out of the way. Last time through the low lunge calf stretch, calf and shin, and go. So I'm really trying to focus on making sure that my thigh bone is going down as I bend and straighten that each time. Trying to drop that thigh bone down as much as I can. Good, and I'm really trying to keep that whole part of my foot down on the ground. And switch sides. Last time through. Remember, if you're nowhere close to straightening this knee, or it's really hard for you to keep your back flat, know that like time and consistency will make a really big difference with something like this. It's very common that our calves are really tight, so this might take a little bit of time. A few more seconds. Nice job, guys. All right, so like I said, this is something that would definitely benefit from some repetition. So make a point of doing this like once a week for a few weeks. Also, check out some of our other videos where we go through the same triplet format to improve different areas of flexibility, and we even have some that will help to improve your strength and stability. Join me next time.